Yeah, I just realized the category was on Final Fantasy 14 this whole time. I bet some Final Fantasy 14 watchers may have by chance scrolled past and wondered what the fuck. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Not like anybody really I mean, sometimes people do find me from Twitch. They are getting a little bit better about recommended, but still, like, nobody really finds you on Twitch, so it's not like it matters. It's just I'm imagining someone like some fictional person scrolling through and like seeing Final Fantasy 11 instead of Final Fantasy 14 and being like, "What the fuck? That's not Final Fantasy 14." Like, what the fuck is this? What is this PS2 game? We're already at almost at level 70 now. And we're just gonna use up the rest of these platinum ingots. And then we're gonna... We gotta get to level 73 on these. But I need to make a mithril cuirass, I believe. Oh no! I really screwed that up. I lost the crystal and materials by trying to talk to Rainberta. Yeah, mithril breastplate. I hope you enjoyed your stay, Steak Nugget. I hope you have a good night. I'm probably gonna head out pretty soon too. But I'm pretty much just kind of hanging out until further notice. Kind of how it's going. I'm enjoying just kind of getting things up on 11. Like, yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of really boring stuff, but it kind of like, that's kind of where the fun is. It's like, it's not really, it's, I mean, you know. Like, it's just the sense of progress. Like, it's nice. Knowing that I'm getting goldsmithing up. And I gotta get smithing and alchemy up as well. Not at the moment, but... yeah, I mean, it is how it is. It's difficult. I spent a lot of time here, and I'm spending more time here, so... I get it. You know, you got Overwatch and you got 14. You're in a good spot right now. Good night. Hey, how's it going, Geeky Muffin? We've been going for a while. I know it only says an hour and a half. We've been going for like 13 hours. I've been leveling up goldsmithing all day. I got about 100 JP on my paladin. We're kind of just, I'm pretty much just going until I can't no more. We're getting towards the end of the night. I'm kind of getting a little tired. No, you must have paused the stream. Nice. I'm glad to hear it, Geeky Muffin. Like I said, kind of been a long day. I know it says an hour and a half, but we've actually been streaming for 13 hours. I've been leveling up goldsmithing most of the day. And it's been taking a while, and now we really starting to get to the level where I basically, because the auction house is not too stocked, and also because I'm running out of gil, basically I need to go out and get individual items. So right now I'm just gonna be farming some platinum ore, and then I'm gonna be ending the stream, going to bed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your day at work doesn't go too badly. Hello. How you doing? We're still at it. Oh, so I forgot. It was Nasomi that none of this stuff matters. This isn't real. I forgot they confirmed. I forgot that they confirmed in a Reddit that it doesn't affect anything at all. But this stuff, though, I don't know. So I can't skill up on... I bought like a whole stack of Titanite, but I can't skill up until I hit level 71. And I've been trying everything, this level 70, every single fucking recipe is like insanely expensive. Just to get one level. It's ridiculous. Why are you disappointed? What's going on? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope that person wasn't me. I hope I passed the vibe check. Apparently I can still skill up on stuff lower level than me, so I can do the level... I mean, I can just do the level 70 ones. So I can get... I only get 2 of these. Hopefully I'm already almost level 70. Oh, is a VTuber? That explains it. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It sucks because it's when you really like somebody, like you're really enjoying a streamer, and then they kind of say or do something that's like, ugh, like no, like not my streamer. You know what I mean? Like it's like you don't really know a person, to be honest. Like even if you're like, okay, so even people married to somebody for like 50 years, one day they kind of say or do, oh yeah, I don't need to worry about direction. I forgot about that. Jesus Christ. And this whole time I was worrying about that. And it's like, oh, they did that on Nasomi because they're, you know, Nasomi was like, fuck it. Everybody cares about this. Let's just do it. But Square Enix actually confirmed it doesn't affect anything at all. Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't pass your vibe check, it doesn't pass your vibe check, you know? You don't want to subject... You have no... Oh, finally, level 71. Jesus fucking Christ. On the absolute last gold kit that I had, and I have 2k gil left. I'm so fucking broke. Welcome to goldsmithing. Apparently, I'm going to spend a total of 10 million gil on platinum ore, getting to level 92 plus. I've already spent like 2 million gil or more. It's crazy. But now I can skill up on the Titanite, and I have 100 of those. And basically we can skill up on that like all the way to like level 92 apparently. We can skill up on like the avatarites, like the Titanite, the Shivite, all that kind of stuff. But let's double check. Yeah, 73 to 92, I can skill up on this shit. So we can coast now. It's a level 81 synth, so I won't skill up unless I was level 71. That was the big gap. Like, that was a big fucking gap. Like, Jesus Christ, getting from level 70 to 71 took so fucking long. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope you feel better on my stream. I'm pretty much just chilling, listening to some music and doing some crafting until I fall asleep. We're just chilling tonight. And, you know, it's just been a chill day. I was playing with my brother earlier. We got like 100 job points. And I'm leveling up goldsmithing. I got from level 40 up to 71 now. It gets harder as you get higher level. It costs more. It's insane, but I need goldsmithing in order to get my gear for paladin. Because there's certain gear pieces I need to like uncurse or something like there's a whole system. There's a whole game system. Yeah, I'm glad that you feel like you can come, you know, sometimes we need to bitch and moan. It's actually healthy according to Dr. K. I don't get all my advice from Dr. K. I do have a therapist and everything, but it's just some things I feel like he's a little bit off the mark on. But then again, he is, you know, every psychiatrist and everybody in every profession has differing styles. Certain things I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, for the most part, really great streamer, really great stuff and advice and all that. I think he really helps. I think his area of expertise is with males though. Like he's worked as like an addiction psychiatrist. And he's also worked with a lot of men. And he's a man. So like he's really good at like talking to men. But like he's worked with women and he's talked with women, you know, on stream and you know, it's just I feel like his main target audience is like men. Probably aged like 18 to like 25 or 35. I'm pretty sure his target audience is like maybe 16 to 35-year-old men. And the two trans women he's had on stream was the Deer Girl and freaking crazy giant YouTuber. You know what I mean? The only trans people he's ever had on his stream, I think. Like ContraPoints and like Ferociously Steph. And Ferociously Steph was kind of I think he did better with ContraPoints. I think because of the shit that was going around with the controversy for Steph. Honestly, I think Steph's like, she's the kind of personality that's like I don't even know, man. Like there's certain people that are just a bit like intense. And like the deer thing, you know, that's all cool and all, but like the way that her humor is, and then like basically it got a lot of stuff, you know, she explained herself on his stream, so it was kind of cool. I don't think people listened. The reason why she was saying what she was saying was because she had like literal Nazis coming into her stream, and she was talking about how she has the power to ban them in her stream. And it got misconstrued, and maybe part of her was kind of like feeling like a power trip about the safety council thing, the bullshit that was going on. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking stupid. It's Twitch bullshit. You know, corporate garbage. And she got roped into it, and she was like not even 100 viewer average, and then, you know, tons of people were dogpiling on her. I think even Asmongold recognizes what happened there. You know, but I think she, you know, took the joke a little bit. I don't know. Who knows what she was thinking? Who knows? Who fucking cares? People say shit like at random times for whatever random reason, and it might not be the ideal thing to say. And I think people get hyper fixated on it. Like move on. And then she kind of just, I don't know, she just like left the platform. I haven't seen her around for a long time. Like for probably like a year and a half or more. Like she disappeared, which is kind of sad. I think she got bullied off the platform. A lot of trans people get bullied off the platform. I'm not going anywhere, but it's just sad. Like people feel like nobody can relate to us. People feel like every time we show up, like streamers don't even want, it feels like streamers don't even want to bring us on their stream. Because as soon as we do, we divide their audience. It sucks. Oh, with the VTuber? Honestly, people have so much ego. There's so much stuff at play. It's honestly like a shit show. You don't really know anybody. Oh, you just said good rest. Hey, good rest of the stream. See you guys around. And then he said something weird. Did he get like offended that you were leaving? Like that's. Oh, I thought that's what triggered it. I'm like, what? That was the end of it. I see. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I'm like, you unfollow because of some shit. Like if that triggered a whole event, like if you saying, "Hey guys, see you later," and then the streamer causes like has some problem, now that would be a bad vibe checked. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to share what it was. I mean, you kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like a puzzle. Like I'm trying to guess what happened. like what happened, Wise Slicer? Did you get on? Well, oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much with JRPGs. There's like almost never any black characters. There's a lot of white people in Asia. Well, they're Asian, but they're white, light-skinned. But then again, if you go anywhere else, they're not considered white. They're considered Asian. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird kind of cultural effect. But then I feel like, you know, the black characters usually really stand out in a lot of anime, right? Like kind of, and like a lot of black people I know are like cultural icons, like. But yeah, that does make things kind of weird. Like you would think they put like background characters that like every now and then, you know, they see more black characters. Like there's 2 characters in the entire world. Like that doesn't make sense. I see what you're saying. But like, you know, that, yeah, it's just, that's just poor. I mean, that, I don't know if that's any kind of like, usually I think that's just oversight in world building. I don't really know. I don't think it's a really big deal. I think it's weird. Oh, I see. Some people like get way too invested into it. It's one, like, in the end of the day, like the way I feel about stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, I'm impassioned about these topics, but then I kind of take a step back and realize like, okay, like does talking about it endlessly, like I mean, there's so many things at work And does really, if I dive into this, is it really going to like do anything positive? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Said, oh, they're not woke. It's one of those anti-woke people. Those people give me such bad vibes. I mean, at the very least, be like neutral. If you're not gonna, this whole like wokeness thing on either end of the spectrum, like both of those are terrible. Whatever woke means and whatever anti-woke means, both of those are weird. Like, just be a person, and if there's an issue, like, that's a case-by-case basis thing. Like, obviously, if someone purposely makes a video game and, like, they go on a public statement saying, I purposely made a video game with no black characters, now that's a problem. But if, like, a video game developer says, yeah, we made this game, and it's, like, this RPG, and, like, we wanted to make it with, like, a bunch of, like, cool swords and shit, and then there's someone's like, hey, like, how come there's like 2 black characters? Then they're like, oh, we didn't think about that. Like, that's a little different, don't you think? Like, it's a little different if the developer is like, I'm tired of Disney and their woke garbage, so I'm gonna make a game with 0 black characters, 0 females, 0 transes, and it's only gonna be white gamer dudes. Actually, now we need to make the anti-woke game that is literally just 300-pound white gamer dudes with neck beards complaining on Reddit that their game doesn't include, that their game includes them. Like, why does the game include my demographic? That's woke as fuck. That's the whole game. It's a game based around the search for non-wokeness. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird. If you really think about it. A giant sea of white people, and there's only 2 black people in the world. Like, it's a fantasy world, too, so it's not like it's trying to be historically accurate. Yeah, hundreds of NPCs. You think there would be, like, you know, like, I think Final Fantasy X had, like, dark-skinned characters. Like, strewn about, right? There's like no black characters in Final Fantasy XI, by the way. It's kind of weird. They do have some dark-skinned characters, but this game is like entirely fucking, like, it's almost like there was some kind of genetic defect somewhere where everybody looks the same. I think that's more of character model laziness. There are some dark-skinned characters in this game, but like it's the same deal. Like, Final Fantasy developers, I mean, they're in Japan, and Japan's mostly light-skinned people, so it makes sense. Yeah, 10 was really diverse. I think it was the world. The world was really diverse, like Spira. Oh, and like all his viewers. Yeah, some people are just kind of weird, and you kind of just say, okay, this is not the stream for me. But then there's a lot of people like that in the world, and not everybody is absolutely like that, but some people are like kind of on the fence, and then usually these people kind of make some what they call common sense like points, and to like a person who's not like anti-woke or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, this, all this stuff is like woke or whatever, trans people are woke, like, and then they don't like us because of that. And it's like, what? Yeah. When people can't criticize something, they, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, some people, I have an issue with, like, sometimes certain streamers, like Asmongold, for example, I really respect a lot of his opinions on things. He's pretty spot on a lot of things, but then certain things he's kind of misses the point a little bit. like, I feel like all it would take would be like a discussion or two, but like, he jumps to the same point that a lot of people do instead of really thinking about it. It's like, basically, when people say, oh, well, if you run out of arguments and then you go to, oh, it's because she's a woman, or, oh, it's because he's black, or, you know, it is real. Like, you can't deny that there is a difference in a person's experience because their gender or because of their skin color. Like, it is a real thing. And to deny it is kind of basically siding with the, you know, that blackness isn't the norm and that, you know, it's not normal, so that you should just, you know, sit back and take it. Or if you're trans, like, you should just sit back and take it. That's basically what that argument sounds like. Like when somebody says, oh, like, why are you bringing gender into it? Why are you making it political, bro? Why are you making it political? It's like, okay, well, by saying that, you're basically saying that it's a problem. You're basically saying that it's a problem. You might not believe that, but that's what that point implies. Like when you make art, when you say that, like when people say that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the developers are trying to be like that, though. I think it's the people who, like, they're projecting some bullshit. Like, I think the developers just want to make a fun game. Like, if you listen to them talk about it, like in the doc, in like their, you know, like, yeah, I think they could try to be more accurate, and, you know, it's like kind of weird when you have like a sea of white people in a video game which doesn't really reflect reality. That's just like a storytelling issue, but, you know, I guess it makes sense because they're in Japan and it's a sea of light-skinned people there, so that kind of makes sense for Japanese developers. But like when people, it's usually a certain type of person, they see that and then they project their own belief that nothing should be politically correct. And it's like this idea that something is politically correct just because it represents reality is so bizarre. It's so fucking bizarre. Like, dude, women exist, black people exist, and trans people exist, believe it or not. I know I do. So like, how does somebody existing and just being portrayed in an art form, which is supposed to be, you know, depending on the creative direction of the creator, is supposed to be, you know, somewhat realistic, depending on, you know, the goal. So if you want an immersive experience, there's going to be people in the game or in the movie or in whatever that are going to reflect the setting. And if obviously if it's a historical fiction and it's set in some very, like, you know, specific settings, there's going to be only a certain demographic. But if it's a fantasy world, you literally have like complete reign over what's going in there. I don't think there's any agenda on the Japanese developers' end. Yeah, it does make it a little weird, but I don't know. I think you'd have to talk to, you'd have to ask black people about it, because I've heard a lot of black people really rally behind the one or two black characters in anime. They're like, you know, like, I don't know. I would feel like that's the case. Like, it makes like everybody loves Barrett in Final Fantasy VII. Like, he's like the black guy, right? And everybody loves him. So, I mean, it kind of like, I feel like that's kind of is representing of reality. There's, in a lot of this, not everywhere, obviously, but in a lot of my experience, there hasn't really been many black people, like, in my schools and stuff growing up. But then I was friends with, like, the one black kid in school. So I don't know. You can, I mean, if you wanted to make some kind of argument on whether or not it's good, which I think is kind of, I think it's weird when people go either direction. Whether they try to say, oh, it's good that this game represents, like, okay, like you're checking off all these checklists. I get that. You know, I don't think it's a big deal that somebody would want that. But I also think it's kind of weird when people have an issue with it. So it's this two-sided thing. If you go either too hard in either direction, it gets weird. But I also don't have a problem with people going too far in the like inclusive thing. I think it's just sometimes it just gets a little bit weird. But why would you have a problem with it? Like if you don't like it, don't like watch the Disney movies or whatever. Like if you have like people who have I don't know why people are like dying on hills about a movie they shouldn't even watch if they don't want to watch it. Like who wants what? It's aimed at children. Like it's Disney movies. They're reimagining Disney movies with like a modern twist, and they're trying to, you know, get more actors involved. Actors that normally would never stand a chance if you were only casting white characters. Why don't you let the characters and the storytelling develop into something new? And honestly, it's just a fucking movie. And it's giving people a job, like, but at the same time, it's still just a fucking movie. But people die on a hill on Twitter. Why is Ariel black? Why is the Little Mermaid black? Like, what the actual fuck? Why is this such a big deal to these people? Like, they want to destroy it. They want it to fail, but ironically, they're making it succeed because they're making it trend on Twitter. Right? It's because the only conclusion you can have is that if you want something to fail because it happened to include a black character, what does that say about that person? That they don't like black people. And you could argue every single ounce of your being to say that that's not the case, but if the only reason you don't like a movie or something is because they included a black character, that's pretty obvious to conclude that it's because you don't like black people. Or they had a trans character in it, or if they had a gay character in it. You suddenly have a problem. Why is it so political? Why are they making my movies woke? It's like, okay, wokeness equals something that you don't want to see because it makes you uncomfortable. Well, guess what? Trans people exist, black people exist, gay people exist. Get the fuck over it because we're not going anywhere. Better fucking get used to it. Okay? Go cry into your Reddit thread with your neckbeards somewhere else. You're irrelevant losers. Okay? Like... It's actually sad. All they have to cling on to is that they're angry that XYZ movie created diversity. It's so weird. Yeah, I mean, it could still be a shitty movie. Like, you know, like I said, going too far in that direction is also a problem. But what's the end of what's the big deal? That was their creative choice. And if they made a bad choice, you don't have to watch the movie. It doesn't mean every movie has to be good. It might just be a bad movie. Yeah, have a bad plot and replace it with a bunch of white straight people. No, a bunch of white straight men. Like, if a bad movie is a bad movie, a good movie is a good movie. And whether or not it's inclusive or whether or not it's not inclusive, you know, a non-inclusive movie can still be good if it's done right. But at the same time, well then, you know, it's not very, like, it only employed white people. A whole bunch of people were denied the parts. If only white people, like, there's a problem there. Where if, like, only one group of people is succeeding, and every other group is basically, like, you know, thrown to the ground for existing. Like, I mean, think about it. I have an uphill battle ahead of me, okay? I'm trying to make a career in the modeling industry and in the acting industry when I'm ready to begin again. towards that. Like, yeah, trans women have been very represented in the porn industry, but even then, not as much as we could be. And it's like, at the same time, that's like the only industry where we've had representation. Every other industry, like in Hollywood especially, they've even had cisgender people play us. Like, why don't you have trans people play the trans characters? Like, are you serious? Like, they've had cisgender people play trans people on Hollywood films. I can't really name any examples, but I know, like, there's a few. I know that's usually the case. And then every time they've had, like, a trans character, suddenly you get this people that are, like, anti-woke. Or they call them, that's how they self-identify. They're like, oh, we're against this. We're against anything that gives any sort of progress to people who don't have any representation. Yeah, I never seen that. I have not seen, see, the whole idea of, I understand like LGBTQ cinema or like, you know, like black cinema, like there's BET and all that. I understand that, but you know, with LGBTQ, I don't go out of my way to watch LGBTQ cinema. I also don't really feel particularly comfortable going to non-clinical, like non-therapy, specifically set out to go to LGBTQ spaces. I think it's a little bit cringe for me because it's not really my scene. I don't want to exist in this world only seen as segregated. As, oh, I go to LGBTQ plus spaces because I'm LGBTQ. Like, I don't really, I mean, I understand why people do because, you know, they find a sense of community. I just feel a little bit awkward. I'm like, what? It doesn't really interest me. Like, I don't want to, I don't know, I don't really want to go to a pride parade. I don't really feel like that's something that's like beneficial for me. I mean, it would be fun, and especially with people I cared about, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I have a hard time making friends, man. In general, like, not just with other LGBTQ people, but at the same time, it just makes me feel different. And I don't want to feel different. I don't want to feel like some other. You know what I mean? Like, if I go to a pride parade and I carry around a trans flag and everything is trans, that makes me feel weird. Okay? Like, I know it. I get it. I'm trans. Okay? Can you get the fuck over it and just let me live my life? But it seems like the only place I can really find acceptance is in those spaces, and that frustrates me because I feel like that's imperfect, and it's just the state of things right now. The state of things right now is segregation. Yeah, I mean, if you're a different kind of person, so that's your community. I feel like I'm just a nerdy person who like is just a general. I just like people. I don't want to go specifically to certain spaces. I feel, like I said, I don't mean, when I said I don't feel comfortable, what I meant was like, I think it's a little bit like reductive and like, or it's like, it's basically, it makes me feel othered. But I do, no matter what space I'm in, as long as people are decent, which is generally the case in LGBT spaces, I usually am kind of like a chameleon in social situations. Like, I kind of just match the vibes the best I can, and I try to, you know, like, you know, keep an open mind about people because people are so different. Everybody, regardless of whether they're LGBT. Now, obviously, because I understand the nuance, I feel odd when a lot of people will take that opinion. I understand why they feel this way because I feel similarly, but I understand the distinction that there is a reason why people go to LGBT spaces, but there's some people, they go too far in the other direction and they're like, why do they even need a pride parade? Why don't we have a straight parade? Like, dude, like, you don't get it. Like, there's a reason why pride exists. Like the first brick at Stonewall was thrown by a black trans woman. Like there's a reason why these things happen, and if you deny them, if you like ignore them, you're like completely like missing the point. Like you're just denying yourself like any chance of growth. Yeah, if you go into mainstream spaces, it's I mean, this is why I'm having trouble in. I had the same issue with my link shell that I was in this server on Final Fantasy 11. They were like super transphobic, and I found out they were like racist too, from somebody. I don't know. That was hearsay though. That was like somebody saying that they were racist. I don't know if that was true, but I do know specifically I was feeling really uncomfortable. They were like saying like, oh, but you're a biological male. As soon as somebody says something like biological male, I'm already, that's a huge red flag. That person is so far on the opposite side of the conversation. That person has so many more hurdles to jump through before they will get it. I'm not going to be the person to teach them. I don't have to, and they probably won't listen. They're so far on the other side of the equation. It doesn't necessarily mean they're like a lost cause, but it just means I don't want to put the energy in to train this person. But what sucks is I also have issues with like, it's difficult to find people that I can trust in like World of Warcraft. Why should I be denied the ability to enjoy a video game just because I'm worried that the people who play the game might be weird? Well, I mean, if you leaving the space created drama, then that's an even bigger red flag, like honestly. That like that person is like a drama causer. They seek drama. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you did the right choice. Like you basically said, okay, bye, unfollowed. Like you didn't make a problem out of it. I understand, like some people, it's like kind of, in some cases, I actually feel like some of that drama that gets drawn out, some of it might be, depending on which content creator it is, some of it might be manufactured. Like if it's really drawn out drama for like weeks at a time on Twitter and stuff. But I think most people, they're literally just emotionally reacting. They go on Twitter and they're like, this person needs to be canceled. Like, let's call them out on their bullshit. And then you just add fuel to the fire. And then the person gets mad because they're like being trending on Twitter or whatever. And now everybody's coming at them. And it's like, in the end of the day, like nobody's winning. Like, what's the point? And it's not about winning or losing. It's like, hey, like, either this person is going to be receptive and like say like, hey, like maybe, what you're saying is like a little bit odd and it's making me uncomfortable. And they're like, oh, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Like, I was just, I'm just like, maybe I should consider some of the points that you're bringing up, and maybe I can, live a better life and have better harmony with people. It's all about harmony. Like, in the end of the day, like, you don't want to have friction with people. As much as people sometimes say they're antisocial, humans are inherently social, and in order to survive, we need to be able to get along with people. And it's hard to get along with somebody when you feel alienated, when you feel like people are thinking negatively about you for some trait about you, whether you're trans or black or a woman in general. Yeah, those people can't really be helped. I mean, they might be one day, but they'll have to figure it out through something very specific happening. Probably not online. It's probably going to be something that happens in their real life. And it's going to give them a wake-up call. But you can't count on that. Yeah, I mean, you can't have your expectations so high. Like, sometimes you just have to accept that people are different, and sometimes I try to keep the peace, if at all possible, there's certain things I've had to kind of like concede to. And I've noticed actually that you need to give people a little bit of a chance in some circumstances, but in some circumstances, like there's a spectrum. Like some people are like, maybe they're just a little bit ignorant. Like they haven't talked to a trans person, or they have these opinions that are like right on the cusp of like not getting it, but they almost have it. Like if they had a conversation with somebody, maybe they would change. You know, like they need like a calm conversation, explaining things and understanding things. And it feels like most people fall into that category. And so if I get angry at every single person who like has like some kind of struggle with pronouns, for example, if I got angry at every single person, then I actually like miss out on a chance to maybe like help that person kind of like come a little bit closer towards understanding and compassion. Whereas if I just get mad at that person, that's going to further drive that person to the other side of like saying, oh, it's just another angry social justice warrior trans person with blue hair. Yes, you know, like it's ma'am. You know, they're just going to go further down that rabbit hole of like further convincing them that all trans people are like that. And I don't want to be that person that does that. I'd rather be like, hey, like I was pretty tolerant of like the things you were saying, and then after a while it starts to add up. And I'm like, okay, like this is getting a lot to handle and it's really making me uncomfortable. And either you have the conversation and then you kind of like, you know, maneuver through that, or you have to just figure out whether to leave that Discord. Like, hey, maybe it's time to leave that Discord. Like, if that people are going to be openly, like, antagonistic about you. Most people, though, are very open to acknowledging other people's humanity. They might just not understand what's going on. They might have preconceived notions, and they're like one decent conversation away, like a 3 a.m. combo away from like getting it. And it's not about like, and the thing is a lot of these people, and you know, this goes for me too. A lot of the times, you know, depending on, in different ways, like in different subjects, different contexts, anybody, like any human, like at first, like you have preconceived notions and you learned it from some direct experience in your life. But that, you know, over time you start to realize that, you know, that's a one-off thing, and it's like it's not indicative of the whole. So I learned to keep an open mind that like sometimes, you know, not everybody who, you know, a lot of people may have just never really interacted with actual trans people. They've only like read about us on the news or seen us on TV, you know, doing something crazy, or on YouTube or whatever. Or they've like, the one time they've interacted with a trans person, it was like somebody like screaming, and they don't really understand. Like, I understand why the person was screaming. I've been the person screaming. Okay, like I understand, like it's really fucking tough. Like it hurts. Because so many people see us as some kind of political divide. How am I supposed to succeed? If I go on like, let's say like a big streamer, like OTK, like one of the OTK, like what if I went on like Mizkif's stream? That's immediately gonna divide his audience. And probably a good large section of his audience is going to have a problem with a trans person being on their favorite streamer's stream. Even if the streamer is like, hey, can you guys chill the fuck out? Like, Rebecca's awesome. It doesn't matter, because the audience is going to be heavily divided. Why would somebody want to jeopardize their career by having a trans person on? It's illogical. It doesn't make any sense. But then I lose. Other trans people lose. Every time, if you go by logic alone. Logic will not, and like common sense will not help us. it will hurt us. If you go by logic, you should never have a trans person on your stream. If you go by logic, you should never have a black person on your stream. Or anybody who's overweight, or anybody who doesn't look like the norm. So obviously logic alone and, you know, going by logic, it makes zero sense to put a trans person on your stream. Unless you're like neutral about it, on the fence, or unless you're going the opposite direction and you're like going into the anti-wokeness, but that's not sustainable as like a content creator. Like, you're gonna get problems, at least socially. You know, they might not, they seem to be doing okay. I mean, they're making money somehow, like on Rumble or some shit. But honestly, it doesn't really, it's never going to compare to being on the fence. Being on the fence is the best thing you can do. But that sucks, because if you're on the fence, people like me never get opportunities. Because people will see me and then they're like, oh, it's another trans person. That makes me uncomfortable. Like, because that person's probably gonna, like, it's gonna be like all, people are think it's like political that I exist. And then if I ever talk about anything related to being trans, it makes people uncomfortable, because they're like, oh, I really care about, you know, like, oh, you're really powerful, you're so brave. But they really don't want to be talking about it. And honestly, I don't want to be talking about it. I wish I didn't have to talk about it. But there's certain times where you just have to talk about it. Because if you ignore it, you just have to be uncomfortable. You're sitting there while people are talking about you like you're not there. And like you're not feeling what they're saying. Like, people talk about you as if their opinion is more important than you. Like, is your opinion so important to you that you can deny a human being standing in front of you? Is that so important to you? And it hurts that people so openly have that opinion. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like you always have to defend yourself. Every time I go into a new Discord, I have to battle to like find out whether or not it's gonna work out. And it's this terrible situation, because every time you do that, it ironically might even make a negative outcome, because people are like, oh, like, it seems like, you know, all you're talking about is transgender stuff. And it's like, okay, well, that's because if I don't, then I don't know if people are... Yeah, I mean, honestly, if the big picture of things, it's going in the right direction. People are gonna just get used to us. And at the very least, they'll acquiesce. And eventually, they're just gonna kind of accept that we're here. But, like, it's really difficult process. No, you're fine. It's... Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. It's just, it doesn't go away. It's like there all the time. It's just a constant of my existence. That if I go into new spaces, I have to fight for my right to be there. But so do other women. Like, cisgender women have had to do that since like the dawn of time as well. Black people have had to do that for like centuries, thousands of years actually. Jewish people, like a lot of different people have had to like fight for their existence. And then trans people, we get a whole bunch of shit because people think that this is a choice. They think like, oh, you know, you can stop being trans, but I can't stop being black. Like, there's that opinion. And it's so fucking ironic that a black person would say you people to me. Which I did from a guy that I, you know, had sex with. He literally you peopled me. He said, you people need to calm down. I'm like, really? I like looked at him deadpan. I'm like, did you just say, like, I didn't even say anything. I'm like, I like looked at him. I'm like, I think it was written all over my face. Like, did you just say that? Like, are you serious? That's like, I gave him that look, and I'm like, I don't know. It was over from there. I'm like, I'm not seeing this guy again. He literally, it's like literally a black guy said "you people" to me. Like, what the actual fuck? And it, you know, so you would think that the black community would like have the most understanding for us, but almost the attitude I get is that like, well, you know, you can pretend to be, you know, not be trans, like, but I was born black, you know, I can't change that. And it's like, I understand that. That's a different problem. It's not that it's a competition. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, nobody is denying that like black people have had like a huge fucking serious problem. To be fair to this other guy, he was also talking about how like, well, you know, like, because I was talking as if I wasn't a victim, and he was like, you know, you're a minority, Rebecca. Like, are you serious? Like, I was acting like I was like trying to blow off that, like, because, you know, because I was trying to be like sensitive to the fact that, like, you know, I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to like tread all over his experience, you know, what I would assume, you know, I know from listening to a lot of black people that at a certain age, a lot of children get the talk where they're like, hey, like, racism exists. And I don't want to like, I don't want to be like insensitive. I don't want to be like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be ignorant. I don't want to just assume that my struggle is like worse when I probably have a lot of privilege, and I do actually. But you know, it's basically like social suicide, and I don't know. I just don't know if that's the case yet. I haven't really given it a chance. Maybe things are actually really fine, but yeah, there are a lot of chasers, like people that feel attraction toward us, but they see us as like some kind of fetish. They don't actually respect my existence. They see me as like a sex object. And this guy got a lot of bad vibes because it seemed like he was talking to me that he's been with, like, he's pretty much the last like bunch of women he was with were all trans, and he kept complaining about how he can't find somebody who wants to be in a relationship. That's a huge red flag. And then the fact is that I said, you know, I won't, you know, I'll go back to spamming people. And I was talking about like spamming stuff, like, you know, stuff on Twitter and stuff like that. He thought I said scamming people, and he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna be scamming people," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just, you know, the last relationship I was in, I gave her a bunch of money, and it didn't even go anywhere." And I'm like, "Okay, this guy is an OnlyFans pay piggy. He thinks that giving money to OnlyFans girls makes them owe him." I mean, I don't know that for sure, but that was the vibe I got. Like, this guy is not gonna get it. He's gonna receive every single experience of a relationship. He's going to see it as some kind of like, he's not gonna see it like properly. Everything's gonna be skewed through whatever like preconceived notion of the experience he has. Like, he's not seeing it like he's seeing it like through like different goggles. And it's like, that's basically what the situation is with being trans and like having people like not get it. It's not that they're wrong, it's that they're starting off with the wrong conceptions. It's not that their opinions are bad or that they're wrong, but they're doing self-math. If you manipulate the equation enough, you'll get the answer that seems like it's correct. But something seeming correct is not the same as it being correct. And the problem is that a lot of interactions don't really have a clear answer on what's right or wrong. Some do, but like most of the time it's very ambiguous, and it's really hard to like sit through it. Because you're like trying to not scream or get upset. You're trying not to be the problem. right? Where it's like, oh, that's the trans person of the group. That person's always having drama. And it's like, okay, well, is it drama, or is it that person feeling very uncomfortable because people are just walking all over her and ignoring her difficulties, and every time there's an issue, this person is told to just put up with it. This person is told that she just has to shut up. This person is told that she just has to stop being herself. Yeah, I mean, that's basically all, you know, you basically don't, I mean, that's really the option, but it's just like, then it creates segregation. Like, why should it only be whites with whites, and blacks with blacks, and gays with gays, and straights with straights? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the internet is like breaking people's minds. I think it'll end up being okay eventually. I think it's a fad. Like the whole like breaking mind thing. Like I think that's a fad. Eventually people will kind of figure it out. I mean, I've been on the internet for 23 years. I figured it out. I used to be in that category of like really jumping to like slippery slopes and shit. And a lot of people have. But eventually you break out of it. You know, unless you go so far, there's just no saving you. Some people are like that, but that's very rare. Those are like the 4chan, like, absolute, like, degenerate, like, absolute garbage people. It's actually rarer than than most people think. It's just they're really obvious when they show up. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about Star Trek is, like, obviously that's a work of fiction. It's an ideal, but you can't just, like, make society happen. Like, you can't just force it to happen. It's one of these things that just, you kind of have to figure something out. And you don't really have too much control over the outcome. It's just like, you kind of have to just put feelers out and kind of like see what's going on and then adjust as needed, and to see whatever magical thing that society becomes. And it is magical, and it would be, it's something worth, it's beautiful. Existence is beautiful. It's, you know, that doesn't mean that it's all like fun and games. Like, it can be dangerous even, but it's still beautiful. Yeah, I mean, like, imagine if I just went to a guild, or like went to a raid, you know, a guild, like for World of Warcraft, and like I was just my character, and like I didn't have to hide that I was like trans, and when people met me, they're like, oh, hey, it's Rebecca, like, she's awesome. They're like, oh, she's trans? Okay. And that's actually mostly what happens. But then that also kind of feels like, I mean, then there's like this other weird feeling where you almost feel like kind of like a little bit like kind of like you're blending in the background when that happens. So it's like there's another issue where if you're accepted too much, it's like, well, now there's nothing special about you. But that's not true. That's not true. There's so many things about me that are special. Like, there's so many things, and I need to stop denying myself. There's so many things more than being trans that make me who I am, and I need to stop diminishing those. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Rebecca, like, you're so much more than being trans. You're not boring if that goes away. If that highlight goes away. Like, if I'm in a situation where it's like being trans is just normal, then it's like, hey, well, you know, that's not the only thing about me. Like, I kind of get thrown off guard because I'm so used to fighting for my existence. And when I don't have to, I'm kind of like, well, now what do I do? Like, I'm like, it's like you get what you want, and then it's like, damn, I don't know what to do now. Like, what do you do when you're accepted? Like, I don't really know. Like, I'm so geared up to fight, and then when I don't have to, It's like, what do I do with that energy? Yeah, I mean, I would be, you know, there's issues with, you know, sometimes it's hard to differentiate between whether or not I'm getting harassed or discrimination because I'm a woman or because I'm a trans woman. Sometimes I think it's just because I'm a woman, and you go in online spaces and just women aren't respected. So like that's, I mean, it's odd because that's also gender confirming, but it's odd because it's in a bad way. But you know, it's just part of reality, unfortunately. Being a woman is really hard, especially if you're slightly masculine. Even cisgender women are misgendered and accused. I mean, not that it's a bad thing to be trans, but like, you know, accused is probably not the best word, but that's the only one I can think of. Are accused of being trans just because like maybe her voice is a little bit more huskier, or because like, you know, and there's a lot of women with huskier voices. There's a lot of women with like, you know, more like kind of bubbly feminine voices. There's men with bubbly feminine voices. Like it's just like a video game. Like you just have different parameters that are tweaked. And some of them happen to be like certain characteristics, like, you know, maybe you have a feminine body and then like a huskier voice. Or maybe you have a masculine body but a more feminine voice. Yeah, I mean, cisgender women kicked out of bathrooms. It's so fucking annoying and insane. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would people get to this? Are you fighting over bathrooms? Like, these are the dangerous people. The dangerous people are them. They're becoming the problem. They're making the problem that they're claiming to try to solve. Like, there was no problem until they made a problem. Like, they're the scary ones. Are they serious? Like, did they really think that, like, that's gonna, like, is it a problem that people use the fucking bathroom? Like, it's just really fucking weird. Luckily, I'm in California, and I'm in, like, a very progressive area. But, like, that's more segregation. Like, why do I have to be in California to feel safe? You know what I mean? Why do I have to stay in California or I fear for my life? Why does that have to be the option? I mean, maybe I'm too scared, and maybe one day I will, you know, it'll be way after my surgery. I'll be able to go travel and, like, maybe even go to places like Texas. You know? Like, I might be able to, like, travel more. Oh, I accidentally got wind crystals. I needed fire crystals. Oh no, I needed wind crystals. Never mind. I need to use the clusters. That's what happened. I need to actually open them up. Here, let me put all those other crystals away. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what drives it. You know, you really have to fight and make yourself uncomfortable in order to make progress. And it's frustrating as fuck. It's damaging to my mental health. It's damaging to, like, my safety. But if there needs to, if I want progress, if I want to not be pigeonholed, if we don't want to, like, go in circles infinitely, we have to make those sacrifices. Little by little, person by person. And honestly, like, I'm going into a realm, into a career space that there actually aren't too many people. Like, it's a small world. Like, yeah, there's plenty of, like, you know, trans adult actresses, but then I'm going to be post-op. And there's only a few different agencies that represent post-op trans women. So, you know, I guess, like, I'm going to be like a... It's gonna be a lot less competition. So I think I might be able to I think I might be able to make it work. But it would also, I think I'm also discounting how talented I could be and my potential, because even if I didn't have to apply to, you know, represented by specifically trans agencies, like even if I was represented the same as cisgender women, I think I would do pretty well too. So we'll see how it goes. But like, you know, especially like in mainstream acting and modeling, there's probably a lot more trans women in, you know, fashion modeling, possibly, I don't know. But you know, in Hollywood, there's barely any trans people being represented, like especially on like a center stage. So if I can really make myself shine, I think I could really get some traction, you know, because I know my potential, I know how passionate about, I know how talented I am, I know how easily coached I am. If I can get the right resources, I think I can really make something work. But it's a lot of resources I need, and it's a lot of luck, and it's a lot of things I don't have control over. And I'm probably just like, you know, I'm probably just being very positive thinking. I'm trying to manifest positivity. Like, I'd rather have hope than despair. Like, you know, I'd rather, you know, have, you know, be what's the word, optimistic. I'd rather be optimistic. I think I'm gonna have a good career, and it's gonna last for like the rest of my life. I'm gonna go until the day I die. I don't care. You know, as long as I'm not dead, I can work, and I'm gonna enjoy it a lot. And you know, I think it's not, I think I won't, I don't think it's, I don't think it says, I think I have a lot of preconceived notions about, you know, I have a lot of preconceived notions about like what will happen as far as like worrying about whether or not I get pigeonholed into being typecasted. I don't think that's a problem, even if it was true. But I don't know if it's true because I'm not even putting myself out there at the moment. So how can I know? How can I know whether I'm going to succeed or not without trying? So I'm not gonna like have all these preconceived notions stop me, because that stops so many people. They're like, oh, I can't do that because of XYZ. I can't do that because I can't do that because I can't do that. It's like, no, I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be the person that says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it anyway. And then like, you know, just pave my way into the industry and just fucking slay. I know it's like cliche word, but I need to go in and just fucking slay. And just be a fucking badass, a professional badass. And who knows, like maybe I'll like, you know, be on like magazine covers and like fucking get like international publicity and like be on like talk shows and like get really fucking successful. And like, you know, invest some money safely and, you know, save away money and make some very, very, very tactical investments and make sure that I'm going to be okay financially, because I don't know if that's going to last if that happens. And also I'm still going to fight for it to last to the death. I'm gonna, like, you know, I'm not tied to one particular discipline. I'm not tied to one particular like role or anything like that. I'm not tied down by ego. I'm not tied down by what I like, what I want to appear to be, or what I, you know, some people, they're like, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be typecasted as this, that, the other thing. It's like, no, be flexible, be malleable, because that's the nature of the industry. It's like, there's always something new. There's always some other, you know, you're going to be doing different things all the time. And if you glue yourself to one type of role or one type of thing or one type of image, like, oh, I don't do those kind of commercials because that goes against, like, you know, I don't want to be seen as doing that. It's below me. Like, there's so many people with an ego. It's like, no, just let yourself go. Like, it's not about you. Like, I'm just playing a role. It's not me. I'm me, and I'm gonna be really fucking happy because I'm just gonna take work after work after work. I'm just gonna work. Like, I don't fucking care if people call me a sellout or whatever the fuck they're gonna call me. I'll fucking do it because I know what's at stake. Like, money needs to happen. Like, seriously, I'm tired of this. Tired of being broke. So when I get opportunities, I'm gonna fucking take them. I don't fucking care. There's very, very, very small list of things I won't do. Like illegal things, or just things that are completely antithetical to my existence. Like, I'm not gonna, like, you know, promote, like, extremely right-wing views. Like, that's about it. I think I'm getting a bit tired, so I'm gonna head out soon. Let me finish up these Titanites. That they cost 200k for 99 of them. And how many skill ups did I get? I got one level with them. And I don't even know how much those crystal barrels sell for. Yeah, I've only had... I know, I've had 3 stacks worth of successes. Yeah, try to sleep. It's getting late. It's getting that time. Yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I'm actually feeling, you know, I got a little emotional because this is a huge part of my life and it's reality. Okay, and I feel devastated a lot of the time, but I can't. I just can't. I can't afford to be devastated. I can't afford to give up because that's the only alternative. And it's not an option. Like, the only alternative is to say, oh, this is too hard. I'm not even going to try. And that would be like the end of everything. And I can't allow that. It's not going to happen. And as difficult as things seem, it might not be as difficult as I think. Maybe it's going to work out just fine. I'm really scared because I don't know what to expect. There is no clear path for me. There is no, like, job fair where you just get trained on, or, you know, there is no, like, I mean, maybe I can go into, like, a modeling school, which is what I want to do. You know, my mom's like, oh, that's a scam. And I'm like, okay, like, kind of rolling my eyes. Like, okay, my mom's opinion about things didn't work. My whole life, she was like, oh, you don't want to do that because, like, I love my mom. But, like, she has, like, a lot of preconceived notions about things, and she has, like, an attitude that just isn't conducive towards growth. My whole life, I got denied any kind of opportunity to grow and to be a part of something. Like, I like, because it costs money, and my mom saw it as a scam. And it's like, it's not a scam. It's just the price of admission. Like, if you want to be in something, you have to, like, participate. Like, if you want to become a model, going to modeling school is probably the path. Because you're gonna, you know, you're gonna learn skills, but you're also going to, you know, people are gonna notice you. Like, there, you might get mentored. You're gonna get, I mean, you will, because you're paying for it. You're gonna get mentorship. You know, you go to acting school or acting college or, you know, acting agency or anything like that. You know, it might not guarantee you success, but, like, it gives you the experience. It gives you the, it gives you the opportunities that you would never otherwise have. Like, it might get you something going. But if you, like, say, oh, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to stay home, I'm just gonna play video games. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want to go out to the world and succeed. And in order to do that, I'm gonna have to take risks. And one of those risks is spending money on a, you know, on an experience, like going to like a modeling school. That might cost a big chunk of money, but like might lead to a huge boost in my career. Like, I don't know what the outcome will be. I know the outcome will be that I know that the outcome will be like something, that I'm going to learn something at the very least, that I'm going to meet people and I'm going to be able to, you know, see how it goes. But I know that if I don't go, what will happen is just more of this shit. I don't want more of this shit. I already know what this is like. I already know where it's going. It's fine, you know, for when it's fine, but it's not fine when it's not fine. Like, if you want progress, it's fine for like staying the course, which is what I need right now because of a surgery and getting through that. But when I want to make growth, I need to get out and like take risks. And I'm not there yet, but I will be. And I think I'll be more equipped after the surgery because I'll be much more confident. I'll be much more aligned in my body. I'll feel safer, you know, despite the risks that, you know, having a vagina has with people who consider that to be their property. But, you know, I mean, speaking of butts, like, you know, I already have an anus, so it's like, you know, if people wanted to do stuff, they would have already done it. So, you know, that's nothing new. Having a vagina is just an additional thing, and more people seem to be, you know, a lot more people who are like that are probably only attracted to vaginas. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to invite this idea, but at the same, I don't know. It's this whole thing. I'm getting tired. I'm rambling on. Bye bye.